Damn, Ingenious made the beat. Yo, welcome to another episode of the Coach Life Podcast Radio. I am, of course, your host, the Prince of Positivity, Coach Steve. Join with me, as always, the dime dropper himself, Coach Luna. How we doing, brother?
A lot better, man. I'm getting better and better each week, man. Starting to feel a little bit more normal, getting back to my routine with everything.
Yes, sir.
Starting to see some stability, bro.
A little bit.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Join with us, the CEO, founder of Coach Life brand, Coach Wash. How we doing, bro?
Man, we doing great, man. We going through some challenges this season, but challenges always mean breakthroughs.
You know it.
Always remember that. It's game time.
You know it. We out here, bro. We out here
already.
Got a special guest on with us today. A coach right now for a charter school, a player, coach, a big football head, somebody that has a lot of experience with a lot of the stuff that we've been talking about on our pod, a brother of a lot of positivity. I had a chance to meet him and talk to him pre-show a little bit. So no further ado, Coach Sidney Sanders. How we doing, bro?
Hey man, blessed and highly favored, man. I can't complain. Just happy to be here and spread this knowledge.
Awesome, bro. I appreciate you taking some time out to chop it up with us today. We have a very interesting topic. I know you got a chance to listen to the podcast, our last podcast, where we talked about lazy ass parents raising lazy ass children.
Tough one.
We got into a very, very deep conversation about that. Coach Lloyd kind of expounded on that quite a bit. Coach Luna gave us a lot of his experience and now working with a lot of our grade schoolers. And I know just doing a little bit of research that you gave us, so thank you for that. You have a couple kids of your own, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you have a lot of personal experience with this.
Yeah, man. A lot of personal experience. I got 4 of them.
Awesome. Oh, God bless you.
I need it every day.
God bless you,
man.
I got 2, and I said that was enough. I had a boy and a girl. What's your kids? Got boys, girls?
2 boys, 2 girls. They are 14, 13, 3, and 1.
Awesome. All right. Well, before we get into the topic and we start dissecting a couple things, I want to start off with a little bit of a new segment that we're going to throw at you. You're going to be our guinea pig for this. So if it fails miserably, I'm going to blame you, coach.
I'll take that L. I'll take it.
Awesome. So this is going to be our rapid fire round. I'm going to put 30 seconds on the clock, sir. I'm going to shoot you a couple questions. I want you to give me the first thing that pops into your head.
Okay. One word answer. I'll keep it short.
No. You can give a quick little spill, but you got 30 seconds. We got to get through 5 questions.
Gotcha.
So we got to move a little bit.
Gotcha.
So, all right. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready. Let's dive in.
All right. If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why?
It would have to be Malcolm X. And Malcolm X, because being in the time he was with all the different options that can be pulled to different segments, I would want to see why he chose what he chose.
Hey, that's deep. That's deep. If you could go, if you had a karaoke song, one karaoke song, what would be the signature dance you would have to sing and dance to?
Signature karaoke song. That's on the spot. It'd have to be a Lil Wayne song. And it'll be because that's my favorite artist. There's too many of them to choose. And dance, it'll probably be something from my probably the Gritty,
So like old school, bro.
Yeah. I still got a young heart, man.
There you go, man.
Despite my age, I still mark as the youngins.
There you go, bro. There you go. If you could have one superpower for the day, what would it be and why? And how would you use it?
My superpower for today. It would be probably me reading minds. Power to read minds. And I would use that to impact my family and my community, to give everybody, around me the best I can.
All right, we've kind of hit our 30 seconds.
Okay.
So I'm still going to get through the rest of these questions.
Gotcha.
What was the most adventurous thing you've ever done, and what's on the adventure bucket list now?
What's the adventurous thing I've done? I would say it would have to be at the age of 21, leaving home, going to a new state, and chasing my dream of football, going way out of my comfort zone, going to San Jose to play ball. And a new adventure I would like to go see Africa. Definitely would like to go see Africa. Go see the landscape, see different certain areas. I would have loved. That's top of my bucket list.
Go back, see the motherland, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dope.
Dope.
What is your favorite way to unwind, relax after a busy day or week?
First, put all the kids to sleep. And just silence. Some silence where I can go in my own thoughts and either watch a sports game or take a real good solid bath. And that's because that's where I meditate at. I get my most peaceful moments when I'm in the tub and got my candle lit, and I can go deep and dive into the meditation.
Dope. You know what's crazy about that, bro? A lot of people are not comfortable in their own thoughts.
Yeah, I know that. Me being a psych major, me just being who I am, I definitely see a lot of people that say I don't like being alone. I don't like going in those thoughts. It's just they run from them, basically running from themselves. But I understand. I was there once, so I'm not here to look down. I get it.
Absolutely. That's again what's what the pod is about, man. It's about having that likeness and sharing that liked experience. Again, we ain't professionals, right? But we're professionals. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
coaches, right? That means something. So let's dive into the topic a little bit. We got a chance to kind of go into a little bit of detail into what we talked about. I can definitely say, like I said, we expounded on a lot of areas. So I don't even know where we even begin at this point. But I'm assuming I know where Coach Wash would like to begin. And that's with the parents.
Oh, yeah.
Let's start with the root cause, right?
Yeah, let's go and start the root.
Hey.
We ain't working back.
Yeah, we talking about the seeds. We gotta talk about who planted the seeds.
Yeah,
you know?
for real.
True enough. So let's go into the parent piece. When we talk about the parents, what do you see Coach Sid as the biggest issue when it comes to the parents preparing their children?
I would say it's two major issues. It's the fact that people are deciding to have kids before knowing themselves. That'd be the major thing. And then the second one would be when you do have that child, it's the laziness on getting to that part of knowing yourself so that you can want better for your child and for yourself.
I feel like I should have a siren go off for just the first answer, bro.
I already know the first answer.
Right. I was like, wait, so for the people in the back, can you expound on both of those answers? Because there's a lot of meat there.
Okay. So from personal experience, I had my first son at 20 and I had him on purpose. I had him on purpose because, and then Luna can attest to this, he's seen my son. He's not perfect, but he's pretty solid because of, I knew myself. Before I had him, I knew myself not fully, but I'm a numbers guy. I knew myself about 75, 80%. I knew what I wanted, knew what type of person I knew what I need to work on, knew what I need to expound on. And when it comes to after you have that child and continue to build on it, I always knew that, the phrase, you're never too old to learn something. Knew that I wasn't going to be the best father, didn't beat myself up at all times behind it. Just continue to grow and understand that this child didn't ask to be brought here. So I need to do my best to set the example. So I cut out a lot of things. been trying to do my best to help him become a better man than me.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. So now the second part, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I missed the second part because you got me focused on the first part.
Okay.
So please, can you run back what you just said on the second piece of the parent?
The parent. So it's the second part of once you have that child, it's the motivation for you to continue to grow and set the right examples for that child. Most parents, they have them and they just, stay stagnant, or they think what their ed is, they don't need any growth. And that's a big failure to you and that child. So like I said, my own personal thing, I waited till I was 1. I had quit on football, like Luna would know, because of things that happened in life. I decided to go back and chase my dream and go play ball again, came home, continued to expound, work, do everything, all these things. But I just knew that I had to keep growing, setting that example, because I can't tell this child to do something if I'm not doing it.
Facts.
Doesn't make any sense.
Facts.
So without even saying it, bro, it's kind of like a lot of the topics that we touch upon on the pod. It's like just because you became a father or a mother or whatever it is, that doesn't necessarily mean like that's it. Like you still have to continue to grow in your personal life and in your spiritual life and all those areas so that you can continue to be a better parent, because as you're maturing, so is that child.
Mm-hmm.
So I raise a question now. Is it that people forget that they need to continue to grow? Or do they feel that they've already grown enough?
For that first part, I wouldn't say forget. And then for that second part, yes, some of those people do feel like they don't need to grow. But for that first part, some people just don't know. Me working in the poverty area, this is my first time being this type of school in the hood, These people, you can't be, I get frustrated with some of the kids, but when you see their parents come up, smell like a pound of weed, they telling their kids to go fight this person, and you can't teach somebody how to walk if they ain't never crawled, It's steps in this thing. So a lot of these people, they just doing what their parents taught them and what their grandparents passed down to them. It's just a lack of knowledge. Some people don't leave.
Behavior.
Some people don't leave their 5-mile radius. Never. Some people never leave it.
And that's detrimental.
Very.
Because again, it's just learned behavior because you practice what's around you. So
I think it's that cycle, bro. You get caught in that perpetual cycle of habit. And said we can go real deep into this topic if we want to. That could probably be a different time, but it's just like the Western society of how we grew, how taught to just basically be that rat on that wheel, that hamster on that wheel. We just constantly doing that. All right, need a little water. Boom. All right, get back to it. Get back to it. We're constantly doing that, and within that, bro, we've been so consumed with the idea of the capitalist market, like you always talk about. Why we're so caught up with trying to get bread, trying to do this. Time is gone and it's wasting. And then by the time some people have this self-realization, 40 years then went by, you done missed out on the whole growing up process of your daughter or your son. It's just that constant cycle of just like, that's why I always love when we have these conversations, because we've all have taken that step back to look in the mirror and kind of reflect at where we're at. And now we have that knowledge and that experience to try to put it out there for others to go ahead and be like, take a breather and actually assess your situation, because a lot of the problems that you may be going through is self-inflicted in a sense.
True enough. True enough. Coach said, you said something very interesting when you're talking about you saying you're working now, obviously in a charter school. I want to dive a little bit deeper into that.
Okay.
Can you give us kind of like the experience of working in a charter school for those who don't understand a charter school in the hood? I've had the pleasure of working at one. I've been able to kind of work with some of those kids that a lot of people give up on. Can you expound a little bit more on working at the charter school and what you see on a day-to-day basis?
Woo. Working at this school, man, there's something I've never. It's shocking and very sad at the same time to see people and our people just at this level in that generation where they're just lost. Like, it's totally different than I think we're all a similar age on how we moved when we were in. So I'm in the middle school side. It's a middle school and a high school. I'm in the middle school side, and just from coaching football there, I've never seen this many players disrespect their coach, disrespect the game, quit, disrespect adults, smoking marijuana and cigarettes and stuff at this young of an age. It's just I've never seen 20 fights in the first 2 months, month and a half. Like, it's just bad, man. You see the parents, they're not doing nothing. And then on top of that, with me being who I am and understanding how it is, I try to help the ones I have, and I have helped a few along the way. Like a few of my athletes I've gotten to, and I've seen growth in them. But it's just sad to understand that, man, the resources that is needed for here is not being given. It's not being given all around the board, from the parents to the system. And me as one man, I can't save everybody, but I'm going to be proud in what I do and come to work every day willing to save the ones that I can. You know what I'm saying? Because these kids, like you said, we talked about these kids, and I said earlier, these kids didn't ask to be born and be put in this predicament. I broke this down to one of my athletes, and this guy cried for about an hour, 2 hours. He said he never had nobody to open up about this to. And I was like, and he called me Pops now. He got his own dad.
That's crazy.
And like I told him, I'm always be here for you. You can look at me like a father figure because that's why I was put here. I know my purpose here, and I don't have a problem with doing it. I didn't plan on even getting this job. I was supposed to be somewhere else. But the way the universe works, it's gonna put you where you're supposed to be, especially when you're doing right.
Man,
it makes sense to you or not.
Talk to him,
man.
Talk
Church
to him.
going on right now, bro.
Hey, man, tabernacle.
Man, for real. So it's funny because when you talked about the kids and you talk about their predicament, I want to first and foremost, I want to commend you, and I want you, and I know you understand this, and I'm gonna go back to something that me and Luna talked about yesterday. We don't give each other our flowers as much as we should.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the fact that you have you've got a chance to reach a lot of individuals, whether you know it or not. I think that's the impactful part. Mm-hmm. You're reaching a lot more kids than you think you may be reaching.
Yeah.
Your reach is vast, bro. You're throwing a massive net out there, and you are reaching a lot of kids right now. You're changing their perspective in their life significantly because you're the only constant that they have in their life.
Mm-hmm.
It's consistently telling me that I need to do better, that I need to do right, that I need to straighten up, that I need to do this, right? You put them on that path. They see that consistency. So they understand the right and wrong. So commend you 100%, bro, for being there and being that figure, not having the resources. And I totally understand where you're coming from, because working at a charter school before, we didn't have any resources. It was bottom of the barrel. That was it. These kids were on the subway, sleeping on the subway. I get on the blue line and I see the same kid that I just saw in class laying down on laying down next to the tracks. Like, what's going on, man? Like, this is where I'm finna be tonight. What do you mean this is where you're gonna be? Like, this is real life. And you talking about a kid that's 14, 15 years old.
Yeah, tough, man. And I appreciate those flowers, man. I appreciate that, man, from y'all.
It's deserved, bro. It's deserved. Absolutely deserved. So promoting that balanced lifestyle, or trying to help them promote that balanced lifestyle, trying to help the parents. How do you help the parents in those type of situations get them to do better for their kids?
For me?
Yes.
Okay. first you got to put it in their face that the realization of who that kid is. Some parents are in denial for that. You know, they think little Jimmy's an angel or little Becky's an angel, whoever. You know, they think they might be an angel. So first you got to put it in perspective as that. Then you got to, when it comes to that type of environment, just the lazy ones, you got to have them understand the goal that's ahead and what you're trying to have that child reach. You and that child experience, you know, whether it's college, whether it's just not going to jail, no more or never. You know, like I tell my son, I don't care if you know, I'm big on football, but like I tell him, I don't care if you don't go pro. Well, my goal in life for you is to not go through the hard things. I want you to. I'm gonna be proud if I see you with a solid family, and you working and providing for them, and you healthy. That's what I want for you. It ain't about the riches and being pro and being on TV and all that. Now that's fine and dandy if we can get that goal, but let's be realistic about life. Things might not go that way. So, parent, we got to put that in perspective for the parents that, you know, we're here on your side. We're here on your side, and we want the best for your child, just like you do. Whether you get to understand, I had to tell that to one of my students. I know it's weird to you meeting me. You just met me in August, and you probably never had a male talk to you like this. But I'm telling you right now, I'm rocking with you. I'm here for you. If I got the money to shoot you something to help you get something to eat, I will. Whether it's to talk down, something going on at home or not right there. And I've reached a few. A few didn't call me. Hey, coach, I'm stressed out about this. What should I do? I tell them what to do and I help them out. So some hear it, you know, and I see some of the parents, they follow along with it. But first and foremost, you got to put it in the parents' face that who their child is and give them them goals.
So you try to set the standard for them. Mm-hmm. Keep the consistency so they see it at home also, or at least try to see it at home.
Man, I'm curious, how does those conversations go? How do you put that in a parent's face?
I've had to do it before. One time a parent called, her daughter kept skipping, and I wrote her up, and the conversation called, she was trying to charge me up, but I, you know, said, hey, I'm not here to fight with you or nothing like this. I want the best for your child. They have to come to class so they can get the knowledge, so that they can go further their education and become something successful in life. You know, it's not, I'm not here to pick on your child. I got to explain her. I tell this to my students, adults, some might do, some teachers might be weird like this, but we don't wake up in the morning and say we're going to come pick on a 12-year-old.
Right.
That's not the goal. Right. That's not the goal. I know it might seem like that you're not like what we're not saying, but the goal is from, like, man, I was telling her, man, this is what I just want the best. She was like, okay. At the end of the conversation, she understood, she appreciated it. Mm-hmm. And we eventually, I never had that problem again from her child, nor her. She did what she had to do at home. And the girl came to class my first period. She was skipping my first period. She came to class every day after that.
And man, I'm assuming that the relationship with you and her is probably like so much better now.
Oh, yeah. She gets it. They definitely get it.
See, what it sounds like is what we talk about with universal languages and shit.
What you said?
Just how I said when they hadn't approached it was with politeness. Oh, yeah. Politeness with your child, the person that your most cherished gift. I'm on the same plane and same path of what you want ultimately for your child. Mm-hmm. Say that up front. Mm-hmm. And the conversation went smooth from there instead of trying to match energy with energy. And that's where a lot of adults, that's where a lot of adults mess up.
Yeah. No, you can't turn up with them.
No, Luna, you ain't off the hook, bro. You gotta expound on that too. Go ahead, bro.
So all right. So like we always talk about universal languages. So before I even go further into that, Sid is one of my like closest confidants when it comes to just having like spiritual talks and just like a spiritual background and just different ways of approaching things, bro. So like he put me on like universal languages and all that stuff, and it's made sense to me. Like no matter what religion, no matter what creed, no matter what background, anything, love looks the same, laughter looks the same, anger looks the same, generosity looks the same. All those things look the same. So no matter what, if you are in this, as Sydney will always say, this higher conscious being, you already know that majority of the people that you go and have interactions with are already on a lower frequency and all that good stuff, right? So therefore, you have to be the mediator and the controller of that conversation. So with Sid going ahead and knowing that already, the minute he got on the phone, he already knew the energy that she was coming with. I'm not gonna take myself lower. I'm gonna elevate you through kindness. I'm gonna bring this conversation with some kindness, some truth, and just give you the perception of understanding that your child's safety, your child's future is exactly what I want as well. You know what I'm saying? So that veil of, all the fight, always wanting to, argue, all that automatically had to fall to the background. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because now, this person has the same interests that I want for my kid. It's a beautiful concept. See it? I like 100%.
I always relate it back to something that one of my former coworkers told me, the Captain America effect. You walk in the room, you take the shield out immediately. Like, you trying to defend yourself, and there's not even a fight.
Mm-hmm.
So again, finding that common ground, which is super, super key in softening those effects. Speaking of softening, you obviously get a chance to work with the kids, and as you're working with the kids, there's a lot of tough, hard exterior kids that you find are big cream puffs in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get to, what approaches do you take to get to those kids versus the kids that have that hard inner shell as well?
So you said the kids with the hard outer shell and inner shell compared to other kids?
Compared to the kids that have the hard shell, but you can tell they maybe a little soft Charmin on the inside.
They're masking something.
Right. They masking something. Right. That's exactly what I was trying to get them to.
Yeah. So the ones that act hard on the outside, but I can tell really soft on the inside, that's an easier task, because it's like I said, with my student, I ain't gonna say his name, but I was just talking to him about life. And with me, like I said, I'm not a licensed therapist or nothing like that. I think it's just natural with me. And I just got to asking him questions about his life and getting the root of why he's acting and why he's acting. And then also, I know that a mechanism to break people's barriers down is you talk about yourself. So I explained my life and why I act the way I act. And I compared those two things to him, and I could tell when I was talking to him about his life and what he's went through and showing him that I really care and trying to make sense of why he's doing what he's doing. I read his facial expressions, and I could see it was touching him. He felt it. He felt something I said along the line. He felt it. And I just told him, sit down and let it out. He just started in the middle of class. I let it out. So with those type right there, you just gotta, because he was all day in class, I want to fight, and just look at this video, coach me fighting and getting into it. Got into it with me, booked me on the field, got into it with me, all these things happen. And if it just take me a simple conversation to dive in deep with that type of kid, I can already tell, like, you just putting this role on. You got some deeper stuff going on right here. So it's not going to take that much consistency to reach that person. Now, that child who has the tough outer shell and inner shell, you're going to have to be consistent with that. They're going to have to see it on a daily basis, that this one conversation and sit down you had with them wasn't a one-time thing, because obviously they've been let down a lot. They've been let down, and they've built that tougher interior compared to the next one. So you got to be more consistent with them and showing that your goal and what you want for them is real. You got to make it real for them. And nothing makes anything real more than consistency.
Man.
Like a circle.
What you say? Like a circle, right? It's like a circle.
Yeah.
Dude, like, this is, I'm glad again you talked about the consistency. We talked about, again, being consistent, showing them that you care, that you want to be there for them.
Yeah.
For those individuals that have had those breaks in their lives, that have had consistent breaks in their lives, obviously, like you said, they just never had that consistency in their life. It's been constant, quote unquote, failure over and over and over and over again for them. What do you feel are some of the, I guess, like give me the top 3 things you think are the biggest issues with those particular kids? Like, what problems do you think those particular kids have? Because it's sometimes a lot of those problems are like the same. A lot of those are the same issues. It's just they're just masking the pain differently.
The number one issue of all, especially when it comes to a kid, is the lack of love. That's the number one. The lack of love being shown. One of the older guys I work with, he made a great thing, understanding to me too about that. It's just the lack of love. Like, some of these boys never had a hug from a male. They've never some
Facts.
of these girls haven't never had a hug from a guy. Like, I got a few of my female students, they sit down dealing with issues. Their father don't want to be with them. One of my students, she'll write how she feels. She's cried in front of me and stuff like that. And I've just met her this year, so that's the number one issue, the lack of love. They just don't see genuine love. A lot of them just see somebody buying them something, putting food on the table and go in the room. And today's time, buy them an Xbox, buy them a tablet. They're being raised by the technology. No real deep conversations, no consistently, I love you every night, like I do with my kids. Especially when they were younger, I love you every night. I love you every time they finna leave. Kisses for my girls. They don't get foreign.
Why is that foreign to tell your kids that you love them? Like that's
that happens, man. It's just
it happens too much, actually.
Mm-hmm.
This goes back to I got to get this approved by the powers that be, but my term that I came up with, y'all remember it, lazy ass, hot potato ass parents. You know what I'm saying? Bitch. Here's your iPhone. Here's a TV.
Get the fuck out of my face.
Get out of my face. Hit the PlayStation, the Xbox. Pick one. Get the fuck out of my face. Hot potato ass parents, man. Ain't no love.
Yeah, ain't no love.
It's funny. My daughter said something to me today, and it's crazy. We having this episode, and she randomly she loved finding like some quotes. She loved quotes, and I forgot who she said this quote was from. And I was like, dang, that's funny that you said that today, because I got a pod tonight and we talking about parenting, and she was like, she said, all kids need parents, but all parents don't need kids.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, huh?
Message.
You said something. Right. Man. That's the truth. And the parent could be anybody. Like you've been saying, as you've been talking, it's just been making me think about it. Like, as coaches, especially, we are next up. We on deck.
I tell all my boys on the field, they hated to hear this. Just I'm your daddy.
Yeah. They don't want to hear that.
Hey, I'm your dad. And in my classroom, I say, when y'all cross that threshold, come in here, boys and girls, I'm your dad. Whether you like it or not. I'm sorry. Man, that's what I'm here. I'm somewhat that figure.
You make me want to go back and play coach football again, just so I can say that to the kids. Because again,
but you my daddy, coach.
I got to be very careful about that. I ain't trying to get canceled. But you raise a great point. Like you said before, they've never had a consistent father figure in their life. They never had a consistent person in their life. And I don't want to say just a father figure. Again, they may not have a consistent motherly figure in their life, right? So some of them may be raised by grandma and granddad. Some may be just grandma or just granddad or just uncle or just auntie, right? So a lot of them are in a lot of weird situations where they've never had this before. So what you doing is foreign. So what do you do for those kids that because again, besides being consistent with them, what are some of the things that you would like to do for those kids that would push back on you, that they see the kindness, they see you reaching out, they see the love, right? They see that it is genuine, but like, I don't know, it's almost like, I touched the stove, it's hot, but I kind of want to touch it again.
You got to drop that balance on them. I can't be nice all the time and understand that, what a father's main role is being a disciplinary. I'm going to have to be raw. Sometimes when I walk by you, I ain't messing with you, right there. But then, at the same time, come back with the kindness. Like I've had to kick, this year I had to kick like four of my players off. But that next day at school, man, come over here, man. What's going on? For you to get back on my team, I'm gonna need you to do X, Y, Z, this, and this. But in the moment when they cut up, I'm raw. I'm gonna give it to them raw because they have to understand that that's the way the world is. It's not always roses. It's not always sweet nothings. At the end of the day, when you're trying to go get a job, these people don't care. At the end of the day, like I explained, I had to get on my son just, because my son happens to be at the charter school because he moved back with his mom. I had to get on him maybe last week. A teacher said he was being disrespectful, which I doubt. I doubt it. But like I explained to him, you got to understand the way life is. Some people, you've had a teacher like this. You're going to have coaches that you don't agree with everything they say. But you got to learn how to get through the situation, aka finesse. Sometimes your opinion and what's said is not need to be said. Like I told him, you think I like this person who's my boss? It's not about whether me liking her or not, or liking him or not. It's what's necessary. So you also got to get that tough love. It can't just always be kind and all of that. So there has to be that balance for those ones that push back. I'm gonna be kind to you, and then at the same time, I'm gonna be tough as hell on you. I'm gonna hold you to a higher standard because obviously you've never been around that, and you need it.
Yeah, that balance, man. That's a big word. I think even with people in our position, some people find it hard to even provide the balance because they don't know how to transition from the nurturing side of it and then the tough love side of it. And the key thing that I heard from what you said was the why. The fact that you told them the world, I'm probably the last person that's gonna care about you and actually take time to give you a chance and an opportunity to correct yourself. Nobody else is going to explain anything to you. So bringing that piece and explaining the why, I think a lot of kids don't get that too, because you do find people that just go into it like they nurture and then they go hard. But a child, you have to understand they don't have emotional intelligence. No, to them it's like, dang, why coach see it at me like that, Joe? Like he we was cool as a fan, and then he he came back around and
blew up on him. Like what happened, bro?
You know what I'm
We thought we
saying?
was
He
cool.
like I don't know where that came from, but when you come with the why, it's like, all right, he still care. Sitting down and giving me that's connecting everything. Like, all right, he still care. Like he letting me know, putting things in perspective. Because, like you said, you go out there, you trying to get a job, and you dealing with, whatever situation you're dealing with, it's finna come down on you. It's over with.
Yeah, because I didn't mean to cut you off, but because some adults abuse their power and don't understand that just because they're younger than you, a child, they deserve to know a why.
Yes.
They need to make sense of the situation.
They need it more than we do as adults.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. And a lot of adults don't understand that. Like they'll explain themselves to another adult like, oh, you a child. It's because, like, no, that's the worst thing. Because I said so. Because no, you ain't giving me a because. You just putting your foot down. Like, nah, the kids need the why more than anybody.
You seen that when we were shorties, bro.
And
when your mom would tell you, like, go do, because I said so. Like, I remember a situation where I was told to go in the house, and I asked why, and I almost got my ass whipped for asking why. I found out later why, Right. I found out a little bit later, like the next, like maybe 2 days later, I found out why. It's because there was a dude walking down the street with a gun.
Mm.
She made me go in the house. It's like I want to go outside. All my friends are outside. It's summer. Why you are not letting me outside to go to my 7 house distance that I could only go? So why can I go outside? Go back inside because I said so. But I feel like again, it would have made a bigger impact on me if you told me that we're in danger. Now I understand, yes, we need to move, right? And sometimes certain things don't need to be explained. But sometimes you do need to give some explanation to why, so that way you can get the buy-in.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yeah, I would say that was like a generational thing that my mom broke with herself. I was fortunate when my mom actually had conversations with me. Now she beat the hell out of me. But Steve, no, but I almost got kicked out of kindergarten. Like
we had some good times.
Man, I'm
We had
talking
some good
about.
times.
I ain't gonna get into all them stories, but like they had to put in work on me early on. I straightened out, but them conversations more so than the butt whoopings. It was a butt whooping, but the conversations always went with the butt whooping. I ain't never get my ass whooped without a conversation.
Yeah.
And there was always a why. Even if I didn't completely get it at the time, after calming down, letting it soak in and kind of realizing, what I was doing and my effect, my actions and how it affected, me and my future, then I kind of fully understood, like, okay, she trying to straighten me out. This is her bringing some pain. Hopefully the pain will deter me from continuing to act up, and the conversation will, bring some understanding to why she's doing it. But like, I was fortunate to have that, and I know a lot of people ain't had that, because the old school way is exactly what Coach Steve talking about it. It's like go in, but like you could have told me that Buddy had a gun. I don't need to hear nothing else.
Right, we out.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm not trying to get shot, and I know you ain't trying to get shot.
Exactly.
So let's exit stage left. So,
all right, before we move forward, I gotta get something out of you said. I gotta go back to what we were talking about not too long ago. Because we were about to ask the question, but we didn't get it out all the way. So we said that a lot of these kids aren't getting love at home. What could be the reasoning behind that? Like, and I'm not obviously. What I'm saying is like they're not getting the love at home. What's going on in the home dynamic of who's at home, what's at home? Like, what are things that is going on, and what are, like, I guess you could say, some approaches for that adult that needs to hear or could identify with kind of whatever you about to expand upon. What advice and what things does that person need to probably work on?
I would say first and foremost, like we said earlier, it's learned behavior. You never knew how to ride a bike. You just can't start riding a bike now because you got a kid. They just don't know. Most of them just don't know what showing love to their child is, because they didn't get that example from their parent. The smallest things are telling them I love them every time before they close their eyes at night. They just don't know. And for the parent, it would have to be, the why would have to be explained. That understand that this kid, because they're not getting this love from you, they're going to go look for it in other places. And here's the consequences behind this, XYZ, early being pregnant,
just do other things too. Not just do other places, other things, other people, like all the experiences, right?
All the experience. And then another reason, is it's the fact that, like we talked about the rat on the wheel, that chase for that dollar, in the way America is set up, it wasn't set up like this on accident. I was a slave to that mentality, that the amount of money I had
Talk to him.
predicated how I felt. you know, and I still battle with that to this day because I'm not fully all the way where I want to be because, you know, decisions I've made in life. I'm a lot better than what I used to be, but I remember being in high school in my early 20s, just feeling less than when pockets was low, you know, or just the fact that the grind, even the people that those parents who are not letting it get to them, their consistency to keep working or work double shifts, double hours, they don't have the energy to come home and pour into that child. They might be living on working nights and you don't even see the kid, you know?
Latchkey
There's
kids.
so many dynamics that fall and variables that fall into that, to the fact that if you were talking to a parent, you would just have to explain to them that, you know, this child needs this love, man.
Yeah.
Whether it's conversations, whether it's the word, a hug, kiss on the forehead,
Yeah.
combination of all of them, it needs to be done. It needs to be expounded on.
Yeah. I think that needs to be some type, and back to the quote that I said my daughter gave me in regards to, like, you know, every child needs a parent, every parent don't need a child.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just people had children and weren't trying to have children, and they didn't stop to put they bullshit on pause
Mm-hmm.
and say, like, I now have a responsibility. You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of cases where you see children come out all right because of the necessity to step up. They may have younger siblings and the parents ain't right, and you know, may be fortunate to have some level of consciousness. I ain't gonna dive deep into my spirituality and what I believe,
Mm-hmm.
transfer energy, but I'll just say that, you know, there are fortunate situations where there's some innate uh, characteristics in that child already to take care of business,
Mm-hmm.
with the absence of the love that you speak of.
Yeah.
But they're more so anomalies, you know what I'm saying?
That's
I also, and correct me if I'm wrong, I still, you know, we talked about this in the previous coaches corner. I still believe today, generationally, where we are at today in society is hindering the strength development of the children. Because I feel like there are way more examples of children actually coming out ahead into adulthood that were like latchkey kids, as we just said, Coach Steve. Um, just based on what they were seeing around them. That was a norm though. Where we came from, that was a norm. Like, oh yeah, I only got my mom's around. She worked doubles. You know what I'm saying? I got a bunch of homies that only got, you know, grew up with just their mom or just their dad, mostly just mom, that are some of the strongest men, and you know, spiritually, in so many different areas because of the struggle. And but there was still like some understanding that, you know, them brief talks that mom had in between time, like, you know, make sure you do this, don't open that door, like just listening to her and seeing everything she going through to make it happen for you. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's so many outside influences today that make it even harder than what it was before. What do you think about that? Not today versus yesterday with these same type of situations we talk about with latchkey kids. Do you think there's a bigger difference?
Oh, it's a increased difference. And again, like I said, the powers that be know what they're doing. Back then, you played outside, you had an imagination, you had free time to dive in and think of self. Today, you ain't fucking with 4K. Come on, man. Come on, everything in 4K.
Yes, sir.
You can't fade that. You can't
10K
fade
next,
that.
bro.
Not
10K is
not
next.
not by themselves. Not by
Nah.
themselves, man. So that anomaly is gonna get it's been lessened to drastic measures because there's no point in thinking about self. Why would you? When you can dive into YouTube, TikTok, the laptop,
Yeah. And just
next gen games. Come
yeah.
on, man. The the,
More.
the character, man, jumping out the screen looks so real. Like,
Yeah.
you have no time to think about self. Why would you? Why would you? It's too many distractions that are just too enticing to pass up and go to that level of seeing the type of guys that we said that came from the single parent households and still made something of themselves, you know? And it's just, like I said, it's very sad to see that this plan is working the way it is working. You know, it's very unfortunate. So, you know, us type of guys got to save as many people as we can and get this message out.
Facts.
Yep. Talk to them.
Facts.
That's what we here for.
We got
Facts, bro.
Coach life.
Coach life.
I said this a long time ago, and I'm gonna say it again, and I'll continue to say this until my last breath. I pray to God that this pod helps somebody, but if it doesn't reach anybody outside of the people that are currently doing this pod, we're gonna keep doing this shit. It's therapeutic.
Very.
Because you continue to pour back into yourself, continue to do that for yourself. You can continue to do that for others.
Man, it's domino effect, you know what I'm saying? Because even with us like ping-ponging off each other, you know, everybody has the capability of getting away from themselves, even in their strongest moments. You know, even with all the growth we have, we still have them battles. Just like you said, Sid, you still got to battle things that you know, that were more prominent earlier on in life. You know what I'm saying? But it's still there. Like I talked about this before. Like I don't want to quote it all the way, but like what's Jay-Z's line, right? Still, you know what I'm saying? Like
don't get us canceled now, bro.
Right. It's but you know what I'm saying? There are things that you grew up around and that's embedded in you. You know what I'm saying? And like I always tell people, you want to continue to grow till you get to the point where it has to be a perfect storm for that to even come close to getting pulled out. But these conversations always tend to happen at the right time. Because they supposed to. I'll tell you, it's been times where like even pre-record or post-record, we didn't have more conversations, and I had some stuff reel me back in. I'm like, man, I needed that.
Go ahead, Luna. I saw you. I saw you, Luna. I saw you down there plotting, bro.
It's right here. Bro.
I saw you. I was like, yeah, we got to get him.
Man, look. All right. So as y'all all know, almost every damn pod, I don't have a kid yet, right? But I enjoy each and every one of y'all's perspectives. So I'm going to go around the table, and I want everybody's perspective with this question. Your first time you had your child, if it was a road sign, whether it was a stop sign, yield sign, caution, a railroad, or red light, green light, yellow light, whatever, for you, when you first had that child, what was your sign and why? And then after that, tell me where you are now as a parent.
I love this question.
Steve.
Oof. I love this question. The first time I saw my son, the first thing that went through my head was go. I now have to go, which requires action, by the way. This requires dedication, by the way. This requires consistency, by the way. I had to now go to another level. I had told, and I had this conversation with Coach Wash offline a couple days ago, and I had just told him that one of the biggest reasons why I was able to elevate my game when it came to my finances, when it came to just keeping pace with keeping a working pace, is because of him. Because I saw Coach Wash work like a Jamaican. The man has 6 jobs and work 29 hours out of the day. Don't know where he came up with the extras, but he got them done.
Straight up.
When I saw how hard he was working, that told me I needed to go. When I saw my son for the first time, that shit told me you need to now go. Like, this now needs to be on a whole nother level now, because now you have somebody that relies on you, now depends on you, now looks up to you. So the example has to be there. And I'll be damned. I'll be one of the examples to not give him what he needs so that he can be successful in his life. So I would say that's the sign that I saw initially was go.
Solid.
Like
now,
green light to a freeway.
Right. Green light to a freeway. That's a great concept. Now where I am, yield. Because I'm already at a go, right? So I already know what level I need to function at. But do we all know what the purpose of a yield sign is, right?
Proceed with caution.
Caution.
Look both ways.
Right? You need to be able to, and a lot of parents don't do this. They don't know how to yield to their child. You as a parent are still growing.
Yeah.
Knowing that you're still growing, you need to now take accountability that you still don't know everything. And your child may be able to teach you something and give you something that you probably needed to be a better parent for them. So I tend to proceed with caution a lot of times when I'm giving perspective, or when I'm hearing something, or when a normal, well, I shouldn't say a normal parent, when most parents would go to 0 to 100 because of an issue, like, oh, you didn't take the garbage out, so they're going to snap on the kid right away. Sometimes I have to take a second to yield myself, not be upset about the situation, try to understand why we didn't do what we were supposed to do.
Yeah, that's solid.
Like that.
So long-winded answer.
Hey man, you had to go there. I feel like it requires a long-winded answer. We need them details.
I'm off tomorrow, so I'm good. I ain't at the time. The charter school I work at, we off every other Friday. So
there you go.
Yeah, you're good.
Who next? Me? Your choice, Lona. Who you want? Me or Wash?
Man, Wash had the Birdman hands going, so I gotta get Wash. Go ahead,
Go, Wash.
Oh man. I saw two signs. Opposite sides. It was go. Initially, it was green. Green light was and like Coach D said, he ain't exaggerating. Boy, I worked my ass off. But before my babies got here, I didn't know what sleep was. But I was thinking go even more. Believe it or not, I was just like, man, I got to give them some gems. I gotta get myself right. Like even me, hustling and working and doing everything I was doing, like I still had a lot of demons. Just like Sid said, like you young, it's a lot of stuff you gotta break. That's with everybody. And so that's when I saw red. So green was more so like, how can I didn't even think about it monetary wise. I was thinking about it more so, what can I pour into my child to make sure they come out the best that they can possibly be early on in life, rather than gain wisdom through trial and error? How can I pour into them enough to where they don't have to go through certain things that I went through to learn, where they can learn from me and not have to make so many mistakes? That was the nature of my discussion. And like I said to Steve, was and he know this, if I brought my babies around you, do not Google Gaga or do all that baby talk with my children. I was very clear on that. I said, you talk to my baby, you talk to my baby like you talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's up, Cameron? How you doing? I'm talking about 2 months old. I don't care. Talk to them to this day. And I believe it has a lot to do with that. As they progress through school, they teachers always complimented them on their vocabulary and how well they articulate themselves. Even my daughter, she had a lisp early on, and still had a very great vocabulary for her age. You know, it's just something we worked on with the list. The stop sign was more so like my demons and not exposing it, things that I would tend to like straight back into. So like I went extreme. Like Steve remember this. Like I stopped drinking completely for a while. I went all the way. So like even I wasn't drunk. Let me put that out there. But like even just
social drinker, social drinker.
I was a social drinker, and daily I have a little cocktail every evening. In between work or whatever. But I completely stopped drinking. I got rid of. I'm talking about I had full bottles, and I used to host the kickbacks often. So I had to stock the pantry. I threw all the alcohol out. I ain't even donating. Dumped it. He got here. I dumped it.
We still need to talk about that because that was.
He was like, I wasn't ready to stop. I ain't had no kids.
It's not my fault.
Nobody told you to shoot up the club,
right?
And then, I was smoking. I completely stopped smoking. I stopped every little thing, even though it wasn't like the worst vices. I'm just speaking to how serious and the magnitude of my stop sign. You know what I'm saying? That was the red part for me. And yeah, my biggest thing was always thinking about like what are they taking in? I like always know babies are sponges. They're gonna get everything so early. And I remember myself as a child, and I was like, this is my seed. So I can only imagine like how they're gonna soak up things and how they're gonna think about things and put things together. And I was like, I need to make sure I'm calculated with what they're exposed to. And so yeah. Yeah, my green light was like consciousness and wisdom. And my red light was reduce devices they're exposed to, but at the same time, show it to them and explain it to them. So that's why I always speak back to them conversations.
Solid. That's solid, man.
Like that.
Yeah. So I guess it's on me. I would say mine's is a flip of the signs of what Coach Steve said. When I first had my son at 20, I was living a fast life. But I had him on purpose because I knew, like I tell my son this, I tell him he's my best friend, and he's the reason why I am who I am to this day, because I had him on purpose because I didn't care or love myself enough back then to do right. I needed him. I needed that motivation. And a big caution sign I had was my past caught up to me while he was born. I think he was not even 1. I had stole a phone at a college I was going to. And somehow that case caught up with me, and I ended up being pulled over, had a warrant, and I had to sit in jail for like 2 or 3 weeks. And that's the most time I've ever done. It's like county jail. But that was my biggest eye-opening and yield sign to show that I needed to be more cautious about the things I was doing, the decisions I was making, the people I was around, how I was attacking life, and care more, think more, move better, because you have a seed out here now. Somebody's depending on you. And to give a deeper dive into that understanding of why I did that and why I chose that is because I grew up without my father. I've never had a conversation with my father to this day. And like I tell my son and anybody I tell this, I used to be proud and happy about that when I was young. I've never been the one to cry or be sad about it. I used to be proud, happy that Luna could tell you this, we grew up together. I used to be like, damn, he got answered his mom and his dad. Oh, shit, it's just my mom. I'm good. I can do whatever. I can have my way with life. I had the most freedom out of us, one of the most freedoms out of us youngest who grew up around each other. I was able to be out and do what I wanted to at all times. But when I had him and sitting in that jail, and I just sat there and thought about it, like, what if these people throw me a 20 ball, a life sentence, and because I'm out here living a fast life and I can't even raise him now. I said, oh, no, man, this ain't finna work. It's time, all that gangster street stuff, and you gotta leave that to the side, man, for real, because this right here is not exactly not where you want to be and not what he deserves. So initially with my first child, it was caution, like that yield sign. Be more aware of what's going on and the decisions you're making, because it's not just you out here living. And then as life progressed and I be a father, I had to understand. I had to go to that green sign because like I said, I got 4 kids now. I started raising my stepdaughter and being in her life around 5. She's 14 now, and then I ended up having 2 more later on in life. So now I'm at a go where, because of the past I had playing college ball, leaving college early, just working jobs because my son's mother needed financial support and I needed to be home support. The football thing fell through. I just worked jobs, and I saw my mom just work jobs, and I said, I need to find out what I can go to work and do for free, and that's coaching. I love the game of ball because it's not just a game; it teaches you life. It's very humbling and very inspirational, and it's just a great game. Not just because of just the touchdowns, but the life lessons it gives you. So I had to jump back into school, which I am in right now. I'm doing online school. I'm supposed to graduate this summer. So I had to go in go mode, deal with 4 kids, go to work, go to school, become a better man, go to this Little League game, go to this track meet, come home, help with this, help with that, help with that, help with that, help with that. Right? So that's where I'm at with it now. It's on go mode. I'm green light. I got to go green light right now because time don't wait for nobody. And despite my bad decisions early on in life and the way society is set up, as the old people say, no point crying over spilled milk. We got to get to work. And I've spent plenty of times blaming other people and blaming society and wasting time. Even as a young father, I wasn't the best father. I wasn't the best father with the decisions I was making when it comes to my growth and being there for my kids. So now I'm on go. So I say it'd be yield first and then go for me when it comes to that.
So let me just clarify that one more time, because I don't think I heard that correctly. So you got 4 kids, currently working, currently coaching, and working on your degree, and working on yourself.
Yeah. Multifaceted.
And we all got Coach D, you said you got the same 24 he got, right?
Same 24, bro. It ain't changed.
Coach Wise?
Same. All day.
Hey, man.
Same 24.
Yeah, I had to stop sitting around feeling sorry for myself, man.
Bam. There it is.
Stop.
Yeah.
There it is. So
forgive yourself. I always say it.
Okay. So we've mentioned at least 8 pods on this podcast alone.
We got work to do.
We got a lot of work to do.
I hope I be a part of it, man.
But absolutely. We definitely, first and foremost, Coach said, thank you so much for your perspective. Thank you so much for joining the pod. Thank you so much for giving us the essence of the solutions that we're seeking to help the parents, to help the kids, but also to give that perspective on self. Because the one biggest thing that you said since the entire time, and it's a whole entire pod, has been building on self. And that's what this whole podcast is about. It's about just growing yourself and being a better person than you were the day before.
Yeah.
I want to go back and touch on a couple things, but I know we kind of short on time right now. So I might have to get you on the after hours for some of this stuff. Might have to throw a coach's corner in there. So we'll see what we can do about that. But I did want to kind of close out with one thing, and that's kind of like the call to action. I kind of want you to talk to the Coach Life fans out there. If you can give them any piece of advice to any of the listeners out there after everything that we just talked about on this pod, what would that advice be? And what are some steps that they can do to get to that finish line?
I would say number one thing is, it's a quote that a lot of people use, but it's very true, and it has to deal with self. Every day it's a battle, you versus you. With this social media era, technological era, and I fell victim to this. I think we all have at one point in life. Stop comparing yourself to others and understand that you are a unique individual, and fight that battle with that unique individual, you versus you. But also in that same breath, understand that there's going to be ups and downs on this road, and have patience and have grace with yourself, because nobody's perfect, unfortunately. Fortunately and unfortunately, nobody's perfect. So I would say the advice to having that battle, you versus you, is spend time alone. Turn some of this shit off. Go inside. Wake up in the morning, look in that mirror for 5 minutes. Think. You don't know how to meditate, you don't have the ability to slow your brain down and go in deep. Just sit in silence and let the thoughts flow. Just let them flow. Let them flow. And then once you get those thoughts together, whether it's 1% or 0.5% a day, try to get better. Don't put a number on it. Don't put a number on that thing, man. Just every day. But also understand, some days we might get a little negative. But that's the thing of life. It's somebody explained that's when it comes to the symbol of the yin and yang symbol, the Asians use, it's the representation of life that understands that the white part is the positive, but with the positive, that little black dot, it's always going to be a negative in there. And with the dark side, the black side, it's going to always be that little white positive in there. And that's it. One of the greatest explanations of what life is. It's always going to be there. For there to be good, there has to be bad.
Balance.
Yeah, it's the balance, man. So fight
that circle.
Fight that you versus you. Fight that you versus you every day, man. And have grace and understanding, man. That it ain't always gonna be good, but if you be accountable and hold yourself accountable, you're gonna lessen those, as I've saw on this journey, you'll lessen those bad days. You'll definitely lessen them. Significantly.
Coach
I like you said, lessen those bad days. Some people think with putting in the work that it's gonna disappear.
Nah.
And they fall hard. And it's like you need to kill that expectation right now.
Yeah,
it's all about exercises and practice. You know what I'm saying? Practicing your routines that help you reduce. But it's not gonna be eliminating.
Nah,
life gonna life.
Disney sold that dream.
Yeah.
It's only in the movies, player.
Right.
Coach Luna?
Just be comfortable with the idea of fighting through the uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like everything that we're saying there's stages for everything. It's not going to be easy the first time you start. Matter of fact, it's going to be the hardest because you're so used to what you have always done. You're so stuck on your habit or whatever, your vice or your virtue, whatever it may be. It's going to suck for a good little minute. You know what I'm saying? But understand the end goal of what you're trying to do. And it's just like Sid said, man, it's a small step a day. You know what I'm saying? Don't wait. The one thing, I've said every single one of y'all, I've said this a million times. I cannot stand the idea of I'm gonna wait until this date to do this or get started on this. For what? It's already on your spirit. It's already, the universe is telling you, do this. Why put it on the back end? You know what I'm saying? Like it's being put in your spirit, it's being put in your mind, it's being put in your being to say, let's do this now.
Yeah.
Why wait?
Are you giving precursors?
Nah.
Sound like you're giving precursors.
Nah.
Sound like you're dropping trailers right now, bro. That's what it sounds like. I'm just saying. Sound like you're dropping trailers. But that being said,
that fear, baby.
I could have sworn this sounded like deja vu. I could have sworn we just talked about this. But anyway, again, Coach Sid, I definitely appreciate you jumping on this pod right now and giving us the perspective that you gave us. I'm full. The cup is runneth over at this point right now. 100%. 100%. Well, yours is gone now at this point. So, yours is gone. So again, I still didn't see a comment.
What?
Still didn't see a comment in our pod. So that free shirt, that free Coach Life shirt is still out there for you Coach Life fans out there. So throw a comment out there. Get a free shirt.
Yeah.
First comment that we pick, getting a free shirt. It could be high. Look at that. How easy did we make it for you at that point? Yeah. One small step we asked. That's all. Again, it's like a circle. Everything comes back on itself. Again, if you like what you heard from the Coach Life podcast radio fam, please hit that like and subscribe button. We definitely appreciate everybody's perspective. We definitely appreciate the time Coach Sid. Again, stay positive, my friends.
Appreciate y'all, man.